It was back when the Michigan brand Oasis was using their black and gold packaging before they switched to like the leafy greeny ones. And it was like a bunch of SFV OG Skywalker, and then there was like 3 or 4 different Flavor RX ones. Flavor RX was like a staple out here. So it's just like, holy hell.
It's nice to see Fatty contribute so much to the creation of his own tiny house. I know I just recently made a video about his tiny house, but he's doing a series of explaining, showing, expressing himself as he builds his tiny house. I'm gonna cheat a little bit. He hasn't finished it completely, but there are clips and pictures showing the end result, or basically the end result. So we're gonna go through all of it, but it's nice to see Chris in the middle of construction. We will see multiple times today, sitting on his you-know-what. This is for kids, guys. We can't say anything bad here. He's just sitting around doing nothing, and that just repeats incessantly. But he can't help himself. You know, he's gonna talk about different strains of weed. He's gonna poke a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, a very flattering view of Chris. But we're gonna explore. And I'm going to explain some of the hiccups and some of the things that they chose to do that I personally would not choose to do. And we'll go over it and see some of the violations that they encounter. So let's get on with it.
If you chill back in there.
I was going to say, what's the best place for him to be where he's going to be out of your way for the most?
Here, for what we're doing right now, his whole territory can be in here.
All right.
Okay, I'm sorry. My legs are so heavy right now.
Here, I got you.
I got this. Roar. I am a lion and a bear and a zebra.
I mean, it's just an alarming view, you know. I don't know how he doesn't... I'm sure he does, but like, how you can't realize how much of a dire state you're in when you can't even sit up and like get up from sitting down on the floor, and you're forced to crawl like a cow into another space within the space, you know. And it's like, I typically don't go after physical features as much just because like it's really low-hanging fruit, but like they're just trying to do work in the space, and he's just in the way all the time. So now they're having him crawl away to another corner. And I've also noticed that there's been a lot of positivity around Chris lately, and I'm not sure if it's 100% warranted. A lot of people want to see him be successful, but I don't know if he is a person that is necessarily worthy of this praise this early on. You know, he just recently was asking for more money on an Amazon wish list for furniture and stuff. And it's like, dude, you just got like $12,000 in a GoFundMe, and now you're trying to get more money out of these people. And it's also, we'll see at the end, but I'm not sure where all this money went. If I'm being 100% honest, I don't know where it all went. I know everything's super expensive, so it probably did work out, but like, I'm not certain. But it's good to see that Chris is utilizing this barn for what it truly is, a place to store your animals. Keep going, push it through.
Yeah, baby.
This is one of the most painful videos I think I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't know how it's so hard to cut an angle with a handsaw. You know, because like, you literally just push it and it cuts right through. It's 2x4s. You know, you're not cutting through anything crazy. You know, you don't have any type of hardwood. You know, it's just 2x4s. And you can't cut through. I mean, the machine is just purring there. It's either that or they have a really, really crappy tool here, which wouldn't surprise me. There's a lot of things going on. He's got sunglasses on as eye protection. He has a helmet on that doesn't fit his head. You know, OSHA would just have an absolute field day going on here. And there's a couple questions that I feel like we have to address. So first off, I do want to say, I think what they're doing here actually makes a lot of sense. They're basically lowering the overall ceiling because they didn't want Chris to climb a ladder to the lofts, which makes sense. I think it also, depending on if they do this, it also makes sense because they could add extra insulation to the roof, and that could help from the heat and could help retain heat during the winter. Potentially. We'll see how that works out. But I think those ideas are decent. Thirdly, I don't know how this house is legal necessarily. I don't know exactly where in New York he is located, but I know in a lot of areas across the country, they don't like tiny houses. They don't like them because they're usually built cheap like this, and they're like a fire hazard, which we will also see soon. So, I feel like there is a chance that you could go to the city that he's located in, or town, or I really don't know how far out in the boonies he is. And there's a chance you could get, like, did they get building permits for this? I mean, you don't need a building permit, but you need permits to be able to put, like, electric and plumbing in. Did they do any of that stuff? I don't know if they did, because I think they might just be tying back into, I think, Chris's manager's parents' house, existing electric and plumbing. I really don't know, but it seems like a lot of this is going on under the table, which wouldn't surprise me in the least, and would also be extremely funny, because if it is all under the table, and it's not up to code, and it's not legal, then this house gets taken away from Chris, and then the trolls did it. The trolls did it, guys. We're at fault.
You know what I should do? Go buy a ramp.
He should buy a ramp. I mentioned that in the first video. This dude is never going to be able to step up into the house consistently. He's definitely going to trip at some point and just cry and wail and sob and beg when he's out there laying on his porch. And it's just like, oh boy. A ramp will be a good idea, but it's also something, it's not a necessity that you need right away. That's something you can get down the road. Maybe you can beg for it some more, Chris. Ask your fans to pay for a ramp for you. Since you're not willing to make any money or get a job yourself, just beg everybody else to do it. That's a good plan, dude.
12 by 16, 24-inch insulation. Insulation. Okay, then we need 16. 30 by 7.
So, like, I get it's a gag, right? I understand it's a gag, but he literally falls asleep laying there. They're, like, drilling, they're cutting, they're putting stuff in, and he's just asleep there. I get it. It's a gag. Haha, he's asleep on the job. It's so funny. And I'm not expecting him to, like, do any heavy hauling or anything. But, like, just laying down and falling asleep on the floor, I don't think is the best look. And doesn't show as much gratitude to the dudes that are doing this for no pay. You know? It's like, I don't know. Maybe you can offer and go get them a coffee or something. You know? Maybe you'd be a little bit kind. That's an idea. Instead of just laying down and falling asleep all day. Figure it out, dude.
I quit. Seriously, stop. No, get away from me. Get away from me. Get away.
So essentially there's like a cockroach or something inside of this shack. And I guess Chris is absolutely petrified of bugs. And personally, I've never understood it. Because I sort of have an appreciation for bugs. I don't like it when it's an infestation, but if it's like a one-off bug, I don't know why everybody's so like anxious to kill it. Especially a lot of bugs are like useful, like spiders and stuff. Like, spiders are good for your house. You know, they kill other pests, and you don't want them to lay eggs or set up a nest or anything. But like, a lot of bugs are pretty harmless or helpful. So I don't know why everybody freaks out over them. Yeah, I guess a roach is kind of gross, but I don't know. I mean, look at Chris. He's a beach whale laying there on the floor. And they find some twig outside to poke him with to wake him up. And yeah, he's going to freak out. Shocker. Dude can't control his emotions at all. So of course he's going to turn the most basic, commonplace joke ever in existence into the biggest thing in the entire world. Oh boy. But we essentially moved to they are transporting some stuff in a U-Haul, and Chris has to sit in the back. And let's guess. Do you think he's gonna take this appropriately, or do you think he's gonna whine like a baby? I guess we'll have to find out.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure something out, okay?
Don't sit on that. Sit in the back.
I'm trying.
Back piece insulation. Don't
trying.
step on this stuff.
I'm not trying to, dude. I can't get back there, dude. I can't
I can
climb.
help you.
Come on, you gotta
I
flop,
can't
bro. You're
climb,
gonna have to
no.
flop.
Joe.
Fuck you. I don't like this.
Alright, go around that way.
I can't. There's no way for me to put footing after this.
You're good.
You
You're
can
good. You
plop
got
right
it.
on that insulation in the corner.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have any way to be safe.
Yeah, that's
Well-
pretty safe if you sit right on that.
If this countertop smashes my foot,
Don't put it
and
underneath.
I
Put it on top.
can't. I can't get both on top.
He's kicking something back, bro.
You
I'm
alright?
hurting. No.
Can you get on that one?
No, I can't.
Alright, you ready?
No, you don't.
He's good.
Ah! Ow!
Alright, relax.
Ow!
Relax.
No, that actually hurts. My ankle.
Hold on. You've never been smuggled in a U-Haul before. Do the drive-in pays per person. Do you want to go or not?
Where my ankle, guys? Come on, guys. He says as everybody else is trying to accommodate him and move everything around so that he is somewhat comfortable. It's like, yeah, sitting on a bundle of insulation in the back of a U-Haul truck is not super comfortable. But it's also like, if you can't sit down without your like entire body going into shock and pain, like, dude, figure it out. I mean, I honestly think him sitting on that flat countertop was a better idea than him sitting on soft insulation, because he's gonna move around more. But like, those things aren't heavy, they aren't painful. Them pushing a couple of bundles of insulation into him to make room is not going to cause him extreme pain. If it does, we should send him to the ER, because there's something severely wrong with him. But then again, we've already known that. I mean, it's just another classic Chris freakout. I think a lot of people, this was at the end of the video, so I think a lot of people would just like overlook this part and probably don't see it, and that's why he has so much support and so much acclaim. I mean, like, the dude is a perpetual victim, or at least that's the mindset he wants to have, and he doesn't try, like, nothing that is going on right now is because of him. It's because the fans helped him out. He's not getting any of this stuff because of his own fortitude or anything like that. It's because the fans felt bad for him and are willing to lend a hand, which is nice. And I think Chris can be a good person. I just think the majority of the time he is just useless and cries and complains. That's my honest opinion most of the time with him.
You know?
You heard of topless cleaning? Maid services?
Bag maids?
Oh, I'd kill for one of those.
Any ladies in the New York area trying to clean this?
Oh, man.
It wouldn't be an Airsoftfatty video if he wasn't toking from something. Now, I'm not a smoking connoisseur. I prefer to smoke cigars if I smoke anything. So, I don't know what this suitcase box thing that they're smoking out of is. seems pretty preposterous to me. Seems like something that you would see in a 1980s like rave club that they would blow smoke out of for the crowd. Either way, of course, he still can't take a toke. It's pathetic. It's sad. I mean, this is your whole personality at this point. At least get that right. I mean, come on. Nothing says a well-adjusted contractor like installing electric while smoking a cigarette. I mean, I've said it from the beginning and I'll say it again. He's either the best or the worst contractor that you would want for a job like this. And who knows? I mean, it looks like he's struggling a little bit stripping those wires to get them into the electrical panel. I don't know. I mean, this whole panel thing is going to become an issue very quickly, as I will point out soon. But I just think it's funny. Man is he's hotboxing the entire place. You know, this shack is going to smell awful very quickly. Probably already does. Smell just disgusting.
Hey! Hurry up out there! I ain't trying to be Mr. Flashy, but you need to hurry it up.
I'm sorry, boss. I'm working as hard as I can, bro.
See, at least the contractor dude has like a good personality to him, but at the same time, I feel like it's kind of out of place or out of the pocket for Fatty. Even I know it's a joke. I know it's a joke, guys. We're laughing, but like, I think it's a little bit out of pocket to say that to a dude that's climbing on top of your roof in the rain, attaching electric to your tiny home as you lay on the floor inside and sleep. That's my opinion. That's why I see. I know it's a joke. I know he took it well, but like, show some compassion. Show some gratitude toward these people, because all I see is you just cracking jokes and smoking. But what else do we expect, really?
Oh, we got holes in the wall, wiring hanging out, wood shavings everywhere. I'm gonna have to tell your father when he gets home.
In order to make an omelet, you gotta break a few eggs.
Really said I'm kind of like a father when he gets home. You know, like, yeah, there's a mess inside of your tiny house. If it's such an issue for you, why don't you go inside and help them clean up or organize? You know, there's not a lot of organization going on with the building of this house, and we'll see that in the final creation, because oh boy, man, it's not laid out well. But at the same time, they were crunching to get it done in a week. Fatty didn't help at all, didn't give any insight, doesn't know what's going on, and he's still gonna complain. He's gonna complain about where things go. He's gonna complain about how small it is. He's gonna complain about how dirty it is. I mean, man, ungrateful.
Airsoftfatty fans, how are we doing? 7 days, 10-hour days straight. We killed it. Everyone involved. Chris, I appreciate you for the opportunity to do this. Blaze, I thank you. Nick is doing this. All these guys aren't doing this for a single dollar. I appreciate the opportunity to work for you, man. How you feeling, bro?
It feels good. It feels good. I got a home, and the trolls can't with it.
Show the...
Isn't it great? You're left with this image of Fanny flipping you off. You know, I've been talking about being grateful the entire time, but this dude, I mean, he's not grateful at all. He thinks it's his alleged fans that gave him money, yet he's gonna flip off the trolls. The trolls are what made you, buddy. I think that's what a lot of locals have to understand, is you have to embrace the troll. You can't run from the troll. The troll financially backs you. The troll is the one that gives you notoriety, who spreads your name around. So, you can be as upset as you want. We will see. It's sort of a butcher job in some places in this house. You know, you have this, like, cheap vinyl wall paneling in the house, which like I really don't mind the material selections too much, because I'm assuming they just went to Lowe's or Home Depot or something and like found the cheapest materials that they could to just put on the wall. I mean, I think that if they just finish everything with wallboard, it would have been cheaper. That's my opinion. I don't know why you would put extra money into paneling a wall, you know? To each their own, I guess. But let's look into it a little bit more.
Look at that. That's my friend. This is the symbol of a good working shower.
So, there's a lot to analyze here. So, essentially, this is probably the one and only shower that Fatty will be taking in this entire house through its entire tenure. You might also be noticing there's a couple things missing in the house. Most notably a toilet. Where's a toilet? You know, that's probably one of the most essential things, is having a place to get rid of your waste. He's also missing a bed. He's also missing a place to put his computer and, like, air quote, workstation. So, he actually posted on his community tab talking about the toilet. He wants to buy a $1,000 toilet that is run by batteries and also has to use filters. This dude, I mean, I don't know why. They already hooked up plumbing for the shower. And this is my whole reason as to why I thought they should have boxed off that entire back corner and made it a completely wet area. You put a drain in the middle, you have a toilet on one side, you have a shower head on the other. It feeds into the middle, boom, you're done. Bing, bang, boom. And so there are people speculating that he doesn't have a septic tank set up. And there's also people saying that instead of buying a $1,000 toilet, he should just build an outhouse outside, which is a pretty good idea. It probably, depending on where he's living, it might not be legal. I know a lot of residential areas don't like having outhouses for obvious reasons. So, and then especially if he's in the backyard of his, you know, manager's parents' house or whatever, then I don't think they want an outhouse out there. I mean, Chris will piss and moan because he'd have to walk outside every time he went. Well, yeah, maybe it'll help you lose a tiny bit of the weight, and it'll build character in the winter when you have to go out there and use the bathroom. So that's the biggest thing. And he's obviously crowdfunding on his Amazon wish list, trying to get furniture. It's a bunch of stuff you don't need, like pictures and like, I don't know, it's just like, it seems so greedy and it seems so like tone deaf. But I don't know, man. I feel like this should have been figured out way early on.
I think it was really smart that we put all the appliances on this side, so that way Chris is able to relax, have his better couch on the left, and then he can just keep all the food and cooking to the right. Instead of getting an 8-foot counter, we bought a 10-foot counter and just stretched it all the way to the back wall, so that way he could not only use this for cooking, but he could also do whatever projects that he needs. Leave some toiletries on this side. We got a little cabinet. I'm sure that he's probably gonna have to get another one, but for right now I think it's great. We got him a medicine cabinet. This shower was probably the thing that we spent the most money on, but we think with a guy your size, Chris, I don't think that we should skimp in that area, so we're really proud of that.
So there's a lot to analyze here. I don't think that the way that they set up this appliance area was done correctly. They essentially subbed out an 8-foot long countertop for a 10-foot long countertop, so that he could have a workstation at the end, maybe. But what they should have done is they should have suspended the water heater with brackets above where the pump is. That's what they should have done to conserve more space. None of this is like space conserving at all. He shouldn't have an oven because he's gonna burn down this place. So that's not a great idea. We also see, I mean, the medicine cabinet, that glass is going to get broken fast. I don't know why they put that there. It really doesn't make sense. There's also not a sink. Where are they putting the sink? You know? I'm assuming maybe they'll attach it to that plumbing wall where the shower head is, but it's already paneled off. So are they not putting a sink in? I don't know. But then you you look at some of the material choices, and they have some lick and stick brick on the back wall behind the oven and stuff, and they have AstroTurf on the floor. And part of the issue with the flooring is they didn't add any padding underneath or insulation. So I have a feeling that when the first frost comes this winter, that it's going to peel up the glue on that flooring. And it's going to be a complete mess, and Chris will never fix it, and eventually it'll just get torn out. Because it's, I mean, putting that on the plywood floor, you might as well just have left it blank. Because there's going to be a lot of upkeep to make it any good. So, I don't know. Seems like a lot of messed up opportunities here.
Tell them about your stove. This is great.
Oh yeah, nice little electric stove. We had to find a whole different place besides Lowe's to get it because it's a smaller stove, but 4 burners.
All these appliances almost caused a fight.
And then we got the fridge. It's a smaller fridge by about 45% by your average fridge. But it still fits exactly what I need to hold 2 weeks worth of meat up here.
Do any of you notice anything peculiar about the fridge? Maybe it's the location of the fridge. You remember when they were setting up that electrical panel? Yeah, they decided to just put the fridge right in front of the electrical panel. I don't think I have to state why that is an issue, but electrical panels should be easily accessible in case an issue arises. You know, in case a fire starts. What, is Chris gonna knock the fridge over? I feel like this entire layout is so screwed. You also can't put a fridge next to an oven. Within like a year, the heat from the oven is going to destroy that fridge because it's going to try so hard to maintain whatever temperatures on the inside, and it being next to a 400-degree oven consistently is going to destroy it. So these guys have clearly, they don't know what they're doing. And like, personally, I feel like they should have made an L-shaped kitchen and not a straight linear run kitchen. Like, I feel like it would have made sense to put this over where the shower wall is and like flip-flop it. That would have made sense to me. Because then you can use that wall, build a counter around it, put the fridge there, move the oven, stove. I mean, there's also not an exhaust anywhere. So like, I know it's electric, but like, you're still gonna have steam and smoke. And where's that gonna go? So he's gonna completely smoke himself out inside of this tiny shack. And it's gonna smell awful. He's not gonna use the bathroom. I mean, there's a chance that within like 2 months, this place is just gonna be abandoned. If I'm being 100% honest. I have a feeling that this is just gonna be a big money dump. And we're not gonna see anything from it. But that's covering the Airsoftfatty Tiny House saga. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll keep you updated with Fatty's antics as he goes along. But until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.